Hey everybody, Chris here from IPD, and I'm really excited to have Jeremy from Mahle standing next to me. Thanks for joining us in IPD studio. We want to talk to you about, one, what Mahle is and who they are, why IPD's been so successful working with them, and I'm going to let Jeremy take over a little bit to introduce himself and talk a little bit about the history of Mahle. And the first question that we have for you, especially all of our customers out there and people at IPD, is how is it pronounced? Is it actually Mahle, Mahle, Mahle? I mean, what do you think?
It's a good question, Chris. That is the first question that folks usually ask about Mahle. Mahle is it's a proper name. It's the name of the founders of the company. It's pronounced with a soft E at the end, like Mahle. But to be perfectly honest, a big part of my business just pronounces it Mahle because that's how common it is. Mahle, we're not particular, however you like to pronounce it. And I've even heard some of our global Mahle members pronouncing it both ways. So
nice.
However you like.
Good. So you guys can call it what you like, but here at IPD, Mahle, we're excited to have Jeremy here. Jeremy, can you tell us a little bit about why Mahle has been so prolific in the automotive industry and why their name is something that you find amongst the OE and why it's so great in the aftermarket? I mean, IPD's been using their products for years. They obviously make a lot of product for Volvo, as you guys know, but why is it that they're so phenomenal and why it's such a trusted name brand out there?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. We like to hear that sort of thing. But yeah, that's a relatively simple thing. I've got here, a great example of who we are at Mahle and how we do what we do. And a lot of that has to do with building this right here. This is just a basic piston. This particular piston is one of the vintage B18, B20 pistons that you guys here at IPD know what to do with. And this is an example of how Mahle got its start. I mean, we've always been a piston manufacturer since 1920. Yep. The Mahle brothers, Hermann and Ernst Mahle, founded the company.
Wow.
And if you think back on the 1920s, that was a time when automotive mechanics was very simple. All you needed really was a slug of steel or a slug of aluminum to make a piston. Obviously it's much more complicated these days. But that's how Mahle got their start. We are one of the largest piston manufacturers to the OEM market, and we are the largest piston ring manufacturer to the OEM market.
Wow.
And that when we say OEM, that means everything from heavy duty to light duty to Volvo to European to Asian and everything in between. This piston right here is a great example of that kind of manufacturing. This particular one comes right out of Germany.
Wow.
And yeah, that's kind of an idea of who Mahle is and how we got our start.
Well, it sounds fantastic. And you mentioned Germany, so maybe give us a little bit of feedback or a little bit of insight as to where the manufacturing is taking place, how distribution works in North America and around the world. For us, obviously, North America. Yeah, give us a little bit of feedback about or insight into the factories and why the OE has had so much success, especially coming out of Germany, as you mentioned. So
sure, absolutely. We've always been a preferred vendor for the European original equipment manufacturers. We're very much the same for the European or for the domestic market here in the States. Our facilities, we have. At last count, I believe it was 137 facilities all over the place. We use multiple manufacturing in multiple countries. I think I may have mentioned earlier how we do the air-cooled Volkswagen stuff down in South America. We've got a great facility there. We've got piston manufacturing in the U.S. and Michigan, engine bearings in Iowa, pistons and rings, and a lot of our filtration products coming out of Germany, Austria, and all those European countries. Really, the key to having such a broad product line for us and being so successful designing products for the original equipment manufacturers has been having such a broad global base of manufacturing. We're all over the place. So
that's fantastic. IPD does our best job to actually look at, to find the resources that Volvo uses to make their factory parts. And a lot of that has been Mahle. And that's why we went direct with Mahle to be able to source those things, provide them at a more affordable cost to our customers. Because being in the aftermarket, it is a little bit cheaper. It's not coming to you in the Volvo blue box per se, even though we like offering that to you as well. But Mahle has been fantastic. It's a brand that we trust. go ahead and give us a little bit of insight as to what other things that they manufacture other than pistons for the do-it-yourselfer at home, especially Volvo owners.
Absolutely. I think the IPD Volvo customers have been very happy with the fit and finish of our filtration products, and that's because these are chosen as by many OEMs as the choice of filters at the factory level. And that's because of fit, form, and finish. That's also because of design. The highest quality and the highest technology of design, and we always use at Mahle the highest technology that was available at the time of that vehicle. And so, while this is more of a classic design clip-on inline fuel filter, it was the very best design, the very best high technology at the time when this vehicle was OEM. They work great, and as moving forward, if you were to look at brand new automobiles, 2017, 2018 models, you'll see Mahle on those as well. It'll be a lot more complicated than this simple clip-on inline fuel filter, though. The classic cartridge style oil filter.
That's right.
This is something that Mahle has pioneered through the years. The European OEMs have been using cartridge filters for many years, and now the domestics use them too. Just about every of the big three type automobiles is now using this type of filter, and that of course a little different than the traditional spin-on filter. We do those as well. We stamp out spin-on filters. We make all sorts of interesting designed air filters, like this design here. Your standard style pleated air filter with a little bit of a reinforcement and a pre-cleaner on there. This is an air filter applicable for some of the later model turbo Volvos. Very interesting design, more of a conical type filter. Again with a pre-cleaner on it, and this is a very nice piece. For whatever reason, the OEM stipulated that instead of a panel filter, they wanted a conical filter, and I think there's a lot of space savings there, honestly.
Yeah, Volvo's very particular. Talking about Volvo in general, Volvo's very particular with their intake systems, and they're very efficient, especially right out of the box with the factory. And so it's very important to make sure and maintain a high quality filter, a filter that fits direct, it flows, and it also protects your engine. And Mahle has done a fantastic job of making sure and offering, whether it's an oil filter, an air filter, or a direct filter replacement, that's just like the OE to go into the factory position and maintain the reliability out of your car. So it's very exciting stuff.
Absolutely, and I'm happy to say that IPD for a long time has given us great feedback on the fit and finish of our product and helped us maintain a product line that really works for the Volvo everyday Volvo do-it-yourselfer. From air filters to everything else, and we consider that to be priceless information. Your guys' feedback really helps us offer a great product line.
That's right, and I want to just basically touch a little bit about that. IPD. That goes to show a lot how much we do care about our customers. We take the feedback that we get from you, especially when installing these products. And what's so great is when you think about how big Mahle is and how prolific they are in the automotive industry, that we've got a rep that comes in IPD that talks to us. We have that relationship, and we've actually provided a lot of feedback. And right now, Mahle is actually customizing a lot of their kits or a lot of products that they sell that work better for the Volvo end user. And that doesn't mean that we're taking something off the shelf that might fit another model that just goes right into a Volvo airbox. They're looking at making sure and making the filter better, or the gasket kits that come from them come with the right materials that are often used in the Volvo community. And I can say that that's something that we really appreciate here at IPD, that we have that relationship and where they actually listen, because a lot of big conglomerates like automotive manufacturers, they get busy, they have multiple departments. Your feedback necessarily doesn't go up the food chain, but at Mahle, they've shown us that they do care about the end user and the product out there floating around in the aftermarket. And so I just want to say thanks to the guys here, and we're really happy that Jeremy's here to work with us on this video, because I know a lot of our customers are going to appreciate hearing that.
Well, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. And like you said, we're working on fine-tuning the contents of some of the gasket sets because we do so much of our packaging and product design here in the States. We're able to respond to that, and frankly, I appreciate all the kind words. We're happy to be here, happy to be a partner with you guys.
You just reminded me of one more thing. If you could touch, I remember the first time that I met you, you really talked about how prideful you were of the packaging. And I know that gets often overlooked. Sometimes you get stuff in a box and it just doesn't look right. Whenever we do a big PO, we get a big pallet of shipment from Mahle. It looks beautiful. It's packaged beautiful. It goes on the shelf really nice. Can you touch a little bit about where that came from and why that is, and why you guys take so much pride in how it's just shown to the community?
I would be happy to, and I'm very happy to say that most of the packaging on our Mahle products is designed and packaged and actually utilized by our facility here in Mississippi in the United States. And nice. So we're very responsive. If a packaging design isn't working, we're able to generally update it and change it as needed, nice, so that our customers are happy.
Yeah.
And even in the case of our German products, like this excellent piston right here, we use a very high quality box so that it reaches you, the end user, in a very usable condition. So even in small parcel, all this extra dunnage in here is going to really help this particular product to reach you in good condition. And here is the piston pin, wrapped all neat and clean, so it should arrive to you with no rust, in its own little cardboard sleeve,
That's awesome.
and really it's all about getting the product from, in many cases, all the way from Europe to you guys without having any problem with it. Our gasket sets are shrink wrapped. We like the customer to be able to see what's in the gasket set so that they can look and see, and even the IPD technical sales guys can look and say, okay, this has such and such products in it. This is what our customer needs. So yeah, we are very proud of our packaging, and we're also very responsive to market changes that might have us changing the packaging a little bit.
Nice.
Happy to help.
All right, Jeremy, so before we get to the fun promotional side of things, a lot of our customers go to our website or other websites and they look around and they see a lot of different options. Obviously, aside from being an OEM manufacturer for a lot of domestic and European automobiles, as Mahle is, what are some of the features and benefits you can touch on so that will help our customers determine or decide to make a choice to put Mahle on their car?
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking, Chris. There's a lot of attributes to these filters that that come from the high standards that the OEMs have for our products, and a lot of that has to do with your customers have always given us good feedback on the fit and the finish of the products, and in some cases we've even used that to redesign the product and get it where it needs to be.
Right.
But you're talking about a very premium line of filters here. Mahle uses dozens of different types of filter media, and that's important because that late model Volvo S60 is not going to have the same air intake flow and filtration requirements as that old 240.
That's right.
So you've got many different types of media. The embossment pattern that you see on the pleats is very important. It keeps the pleats separated so that air flows, and it also gives them rigidity. The fitment of the silicone, the curing of the silicone that allows this to fit snugly in the box without fitting too snugly, is very important. Also the materials that we use to bond the end caps of filters, for example. And you can see the color difference here. One of these is a baked phenolic resin media, and the other one's a much more advanced synthetic type of media that you find on a more modern automobile.
Yes.
So these type of features are very important when it comes to filtration. Even the materials we use for the O-rings. It's got to withstand the heat and the temperature. It's got to have the right durometer, the right hardness, and the right pliability. So these are a few reasons why the Mahle filter line is so adept.
You reminded me of one thing really quick that I'd like to share with our customers as an example on this air filter here, this cartridge. A few years ago, IPD's product team and I went and bought every single filter out there on the market, and I think we shared this with you, but you mentioned the bonding of the end caps to the filter material. And one thing we noticed, and I won't name names on a lot of other aftermarket companies, was that the bonding agent that they used actually soaked into the filter material itself. So that way you're really not taking advantage of the entire filter because that bonding agent had actually basically engulfed and taken over some of that filter area. So it's very important that these quality aspects are maintained, and I think that's why Mahle does such a great job. So
absolutely, yeah. Buying a premium filter is always the right way to go. There are a lot of very low-cost filters out there for the do-it-yourselfer, and just down the road at the local parts store or whatever. But the guys here at IPD have tested everything, and they use the products that they know work. And I'm happy that my Mahle products are some of those products.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say for all the do-it-yourselfers out there, especially IPD customers, if you're just at home on a weekend, you're getting ready to go on a road trip, or you're coming up on a service, being a 12,000 mile, 30,000, 60, 90, whatever that interval may be for your Volvo, Mahle's got you covered everywhere, from your standard air filter, fuel filter replacement, all the way to the customer that, unfortunately may have to break down an engine, do a head gasket. If they're breaking down an engine for whatever various reason, Mahle's got you covered. And I think I'm safe to say that. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'll let you finish that up. So.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a great range of products for the Volvo folks. And again, you've got all sorts of different customers. Just the weekend do-it-yourselfer, which, I hope one of those guys will come change my oil for me this weekend, actually, because I'm overdue. And also, getting into the engine and doing the hard parts. We like to provide all those things.
That's fantastic. So, thanks for tuning in. Now the fun stuff. IPD is getting ready to, give you a little spiff here. So, Mahle has been gracious, and Jeremy has been very gracious to offer you some Mahle swag. And how that's going to relate to you is anybody that purchases through IPD, anybody who purchases Mahle product will get a goodie in their box. If you purchase over $299 value or more and it has a Mahle product included, you will also get one of these bags. So for any more information, you're more than welcome to contact our customer service agents. Make sure and stay tuned. Obviously, this offer is going to last while we have supplies to support that. But as you know, IPD is always here to support you. Anytime that you give into IPD and we're looking at products, we want to see you, make sure and have the easiest way to repair your car with the right products. And that's why we list the Mahle brand across the entire product line. So if there's something that you don't see for your car that you want that's Mahle, make sure and let us know. We'll look into it. We can get with Jeremy and find out if there's an application. But other than that, we want to thank you for joining us today. Definitely shake your hand, say thanks for coming by the IPD studio, and we'll let you wrap it up.
Thanks for having me. I'll tell you, it's always a pleasure to come to IPD and see the projects you guys are working on and your operation here, and be a little part of it. So I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to seeing you guys again real soon.
Yep, that's what it's about. It's all about building relationships, and we're thankful for Mahle and Jeremy. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.